from the Bembrook Chamber. And Kelly Biggs from the Terrence Sheriff's Department. And Jason Ward, the mayor of Bembrook. And Willie Rankin and Ashley Mortimer, they're from LBT Rise. So I'm going to let Sean wanted me to talk about what we've been doing since COVID started, because it's been a long time since we've seen everybody. You know, we've kept up doing food bags for everybody at spring break and Christmas, and we keep food bags on campus all the time so kids can come. In fact, just yesterday we had a family contact us that said, hey, we could use food, so we had them ready and we just took them to the teacher and she took them to the family. So that's ongoing. Clothing, hygiene, you know, same stuff, still feeding all the kids. You'd think kids would be sick of ham and turkey sandwiches, but we made 240 sandwiches, I think, last week. We have 30 in the refrigerator today. From Monday to today, there's 30 left. So these kids are eating sandwiches like crazy, and they love them. We were talking a little bit about fundraising. We have not really done any major fundraiser of any sort, but the class of '82 is working on possibly hosting something for the whole all alumni to come in the fall sometime around homecoming. I don't know the homecoming dates yet, but that's something that we're kind of working on right now. We're going to do that in lieu of a reunion for our class. We're going to just host a huge fundraiser for the school and for the foundation. Okay? I'm sorry, tentative. It's going to be around homecoming, so my guess is probably October sometime, but it might be September, October sometime. I'm not sure what the date is. We'll post that date as soon as we get things nailed down a little bit better. Does anybody else have questions about any of that? No? Okay. Sean, y'all all know Sean Doherty?
So, hopefully I can project around the corner. I think the main thing, also my thanks for showing up tonight. We were nervous, the board, Sarah Lynn and Patty and I, and the two other board members who were not here. So Karen Landon and John Medina couldn't be here for other reasons. We had a big debate about whether we could get turnout tonight, and I'm thrilled that you guys came as loyal volunteers and supporters of the foundation, so thank you. I think one of the big things we want to communicate with you guys is...
You might need to stand over here, I think.
Is it better from over there?
I think so. Because you're going towards the wall instead of coming away.
Patty, teach him how to cheer and stuff, and then go get it.
Okay, so, and we are now into our 5th year of operations, so time flies, but thanks to you guys and other stakeholders who are not here, we built something sustainable around the students at Western Hills High School, which is just great. So, guess what? There's a real pull for us to expand the scope of what we're doing now. And I don't know if you guys know, but Fort Worth ISD has organized itself around what they call pyramids. And these are pure pyramids that feed a high school with middle schools and elementary schools. Western Hills sits atop its own pyramid at the moment. That might change. And is fed by only one middle school at the moment, Leonard, and then several, I think 3 elementary schools. So as a result of what we've been doing at Cougar Corner and for the high school, it's been suggested that if we can take it on, we expand the scope to include Leonard Middle School and Western Hills Elementary School. So that is opportunity and challenge, I guess, at the same time. And some of the stakeholders that Patty just introduced you to are bringing resources, funding ideas, and other inputs to help us make this happen. The plan is to use this spring semester to work out the details. How much additional funding do we need? Where are all these additional volunteers going to come from? What facilities do we need at Leonard and at Western Hills Elementary? All of that needs to get worked out. And Willie and Ashley have already some funding and some resources that they're bringing. And maybe, Willie, you can talk a little bit about what your organization is up to after you have supper. And then, Jason, we wanted you to hear this because, as you know, the student body, especially for Leonard and Western Hills, crosses both the city of Fort Worth and the city of Pembroke jurisdiction. And while LBT Rise gets a lot of support from the city of Fort Worth, the Pembroke side of Camp Bowie is sort of out of scope for LBT Rise, and we need to work out the ways to get all that synced up. Okay? So the board of the foundation, which we probably need to expand and add additional capacity to, is ready to go for this. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but we know we can count on you guys to help us along the way. One of the key things we're going to do is change the name of the foundation. And for those of you interested, you can probably look at Patty's laptop later today. And we're going to change the name from the Western Hills High School Cougar Pride Foundation to something much shorter. It's going to be called the Cougar Pride Alliance. And that's going to do two things, we hope. One is by dropping Western Hills from the front of the name, that gives us that broader scope for Leonard and Western Hills Elementary. And the second thing is a bit more technical, which is as we apply for more funding from other donor organizations, it's not going to serve us well to make it look like we're a foundation. Foundations are typically set up to fund lots of nonprofits. We called ourselves a foundation, but we're really a single-purpose nonprofit. We're not funding other nonprofits. But it's a bit weird for a foundation to ask another foundation for money. So we're going to cut that off and make it a little bit more obvious to the many Fort Worth, Tarrant County, North Texas, and perhaps even national foundations who would, if we present ourselves and our business case properly, would gladly fund us at the intersection of education and social services. So that was a bit of a mouthful, but we're going to expand the scope to reach further into the Western Hills Pyramid. We're going to change the name of what we're doing, and then we're going to work out a plan that by time August gets around and school starts, we will have a Cougar Corner look-alike facility at Leonard and a Cougar Corner look-alike facility at Western Hills Elementary. And those principals have already signed up and said, bring it, we'll give you facilities, tell us what else we can do. So that's why I said we've got the demand. The schools want the help. Fort Worth ISD's on board. It's just up to us to put a plan together and deliver it.
And I don't have to. I just have to help them. But I don't have to.
So, any questions about that? Does that make sense the way I rambled through that? Yeah. So at the moment, the people in FWISD haven't raised the help flag on their school shows. Doesn't mean they won't. It would help if they would.
Just from experience in the district, the school that out of those three elementary schools that needs the most help are the Western Hills Elementary campuses with the primary and the elementary. Because of the huge turnover from the apartments, the revolving door with kids leaving and then coming back, that the socioeconomic need is there. It's been there for a long time.
Indeed. So, that's kind of what I wanted to say, Patty. I wonder if, Willie, if you're ready.
what you're doing for here and how you're already helping us.
Well, thank you so much for having myself today. And Ashley, our partner in crime, is probably the normal person if you ever walk into the Rise Community Center. That is the friendly face that you will see. Myself, my name is Willie Rankin. I am the Executive Director of LBT Rise. We are a neighborhood revitalization organization that runs the Rise Community Center. We were birthed from an effort from Councilman Byrd at the time to address the needs of the community in order to bring more resources to the community. Our motto is called a place-based nonprofit, meaning we are a group of people who go out to other nonprofits and resources and say, please help our people who need help with certain items. So we try not to recreate the wheel. For example, we operate out of a community center, but if you go into that community center on any given day, there might be a different nonprofit in there. Every day you'll see the Fort Worth Library. Their staff is always there. But some days you might see clinical counselors. Some days you might see after-school programming. So that's what a place-based nonprofit is, and that's what we do, and that's how we got involved with the Cougar Corner. Is that y'all are already serving the same population that we are serving. How can we help? And what we specialize in is that access. So whenever the winter storm came, we need water, we need food. We say, we'll go out to our network, find that and bring it in. Whenever there's clothing needs, or sometimes when we need help. We ran out of volunteers one food pantry because it was way too cold, and here comes Cougar Corner with a lot of the helpers. So that is our motto. It's about not recreating the wheel, finding out who can help, and our primary focus is the Las Vegas Trail neighborhood, is what we count as Camp Bowie to I-30 and 820 to Cherry Lane. That is our territory. So everything that's in there, we serve. We have a broad spectrum of different things that people walk in for, such as rental assistance, utility assistance, helping find a job, helping get access to different health and wellness needs. We have COVID vaccines, we have STD checks, we have anything that is high need of the neighborhood, we host out of that building. So some of the project of moving forward as far as education goes, we worked early on in the neighborhood to find out what's going on in Western Hills Elementary, what's going on at Leonard. Western Hills High School is actually doing pretty well compared to those other two schools. And as we address the work with the elementary school and the middle school, we realized some of the issues aren't really with the teachers or really with the staff. Some of it has to do with home and home living. So we focused our effort on the apartments. So year one, 2019, you might have seen a couple of hotels and a couple of apartments go out of business. And that's because those hotels and apartments had a lot of illegal activity going on. So we addressed them with our partnership with Fort Worth PD and all the lawyers at the city of Fort Worth. Year two and year three, or you might have heard earlier in 2021, we established the PID. The PID is a public improvement district tax credit where all the apartment complexes now pay into an extra tax that LBT Rise and the neighborhood benefits from increased security, increased officers, increased beautification. So you may see a lot of beautification or people cleaning up trash from the neighborhood. That came from the PID. What this also allowed us to do is meet one-on-one with the owners of the apartment complex. That way, when the school says something is going on with the student that's taking place in the apartment complex, we can address it directly with the apartment complex. So we're trying to change the neighborhood so when they get to school, they just have to worry about school. And that's has been our approach. But this year, now that nonprofits are allowed back into the schools, we came to the Cougar Corner and said, what can we do to create a patty at every school? And we said, let's start out with having a staff member that is just full-time partnered with what y'all do and what y'all trying to accomplish. So we did get funding from the Sid Richardson Foundation to hire a full-time staff that is going to be working with the Cougar Corner in all three campuses to make sure parents stay engaged and make sure the kids get the resources, the parents get the resources they need for their kids to be successful in class. We also have funding to do events for parent engagement. So if there's rallies or carnivals, things that normal PTAs normally put together, we can put that funding in representation of a PTA, even though if those schools don't have a PTA. So that is some of the new things that OPT Rise is doing, and that's some of the big overlap that we have with Cougar Corner. And we're really happy to be part of the effort, and we'll love to give y'all a tour of the Rise Community Center if you haven't been at. It's the old West Side YMCA. Most people still call it the old West Side YMCA when they walk in, but we're fine with that. We're fine with that because we know it has a rich history in the neighborhood. So
LBTY is a huge resource for us because, like just yesterday, we have a faculty member who needed her glasses broke. She can't afford, even though she has insurance for the 4,000, she couldn't afford glasses. So I contacted them. There's a Helen Keller International that does eye vision checks for kids and adults actually, and they do that at LBT Rise. They had helped some of our kids last year. A couple of kids got glasses. The very next day, one of our kids went out and got his driver's license, and he's the only driver in his entire family. He's a refugee, and so that's how important the community center is because they reach out to all these nonprofits. They have all these resources. We just have to call and find out, hey, can you help us with this? And Ashley's going to set up a new date, and we can send some of our kids to have vision checks, and they get free glasses, so they don't have to pay anything. It's just we have to transport them to the community center to get it done, and that's zero out of pocket. And some of these kids have never had their eyes checked, so it's a huge help for the foundation for us.
and we love partnering with y'all because y'all are boots on the ground. A lot of y'all see what's going on. It's very hard to explain what LBT Rise besides. If y'all need something, ask us, and we'll find out who has it, and we'll try to bring it back to you. And that's really been our motto. Try not to overwhelm Ashley. I always come to her, hey, I have a new idea. She's like, no more new ideas, but we'll love new partners. So we really focus on new partnerships more than trying to create new programs. And those new partnerships actually open up more opportunities because we have the person who is the expert in that field. Like, we knew kids needed glasses. Why don't we find a company that gives out free glasses? Have them here every month. Easy solution to a real need that served. How many people we gave glasses to? How many people have we gave glasses to? Probably like 50, and that's just one of the resources that we have. So that's our motto. Y'all probably see us more closely. I believe alumni is a position that we offer the position to be working closely with y'all. Her name is Heather Hoover. I'm not sure if y'all ever met her before, but half of our staff lives in the neighborhood. So we are trying to stay true to a neighborhood-based organization. And we appreciate all your help so far with the Cougar Corner. So thank you.
Thank you.
What else? Do you have anything you want to say yet?
I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. I want to figure out how we partner as a city. I'm looking forward to spending time with this guy and this
What's up,
guy.
Mayor? How are you?
you doing?
Yeah, good to see you.
Great.
What's up? How are y'all? Good. This is actually Riverwood HOA, so it kind of worked out. I looked over and Ashley said hello. How are y'all doing? Good. Sure. Hey, I'm Michael Crane. I'm the District 3 councilman. So Las Vegas Trail. Thanks, y'all. And thanks for what y'all do and everything. I think it's Cougar Corner, right? Yeah. Thanks for what y'all are doing over there. As you know, probably you've heard, I don't know, you just talked about transformation plan and all the stuff that we're doing.
That was the last part I was supposed to mention. So can you tell them about the transformation plan?
So we've put in place and we're working on a transformation plan in Las Vegas Trail. We've hired a third-party vendor called Interface Studios. We're probably going to give them information about the block party and all the information in February. But the idea is to, we know there are problems there, but we don't have all the data of what that is that we can then package up and then go after federal funds and other things for really a revitalization plan in the area. So that's the idea behind it. Probably by late spring, we'll have something in place that we can share with everybody, and part of this block party and other things that will happen in February are part of that information gathering. But much like what happened with Stop 6, they got $36 million HUD grant. That's what I'm trying to do over there is figure out how we package this up and sell it to state level, federal level, outside all the city funds that we're putting into it. You may be aware, do you talk about the Neighbor Improvement Program? I'll tell you about that too. So every year there's a neighborhood that is designated to receive funds that we set aside. This year it's $3.5 million, and it was Las Vegas Trail that was selected. So yeah, awesome. So that'll help us supplement what the PIT is already doing with public safety and security, more flock cameras that are in the area to help cut down crime, to help with some beautification efforts, to help with other programming at the community center, and really streets and sidewalks and lights and all the piece that makes a good neighborhood. So that's how we're spending a lot of time and effort trying to clean up. So I appreciate what y'all are doing, trying to help in different areas. And if I can ever be helpful, let me know. I appreciate it. Good. I mean, yeah, thank y'all very much. Yeah, thank you. Sorry to crash your party, but this is
Right on time.
it's crazy. Yeah.
So my dad lives in Iowa, so.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Great.
So, yeah, the neighborhood's a big concern for me because that's where my dad lives.
Yes, yeah.
And, you know, it concerns me that a lot of our kids, they feel safe
For sure.
where they live.
For sure.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And when we were growing up in Western Hills,
Yeah.
we never had to worry about walking down the street or somebody doing something that wasn't supposed to. This is
Right, for sure.
so, I mean, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
well, yeah, they're always there.
Well, it's because you said your dad lives there. I know that there are people that's their neighborhood and that's their home. And you're right, they should feel safe. And they may be in the apartments, but that's still their home, and that's what they go. And so all the things we're working on, it should be a place where people end up. It should be a place where people want to live and grow and raise a family.
And growing up on the west side, I remember when the apartments on Las Vegas Trail and Highway 80, it was called the Spanish Trail. I don't know what they're called now. So they used to be a place where everybody wanted to live.
Right.
Nice. And now you drive by and you're not going, what are these people doing with the money that these people are paying to live there because it looks,
Sure.
it looks bad.
Yeah. It's not safe. It's not a safe place to be. And I'm thankful for Willie and Ashley that are there every day in the neighborhood trying to help. But we got a lot of work to do. So appreciate what y'all are doing. Thank y'all.
I was just going to close out with everything that he did say. We will send information to Patty about the block party, so if y'all know anyone or if you do live in the neighborhood, we need to know how to spend that $3.5 million. So when that $3.5 million gets spent down, it's from community feedback, just like how the community center was built. And Councilman Crane fights every day for this neighborhood as well. And the mayor has came some of you who made it to the state of LBT, she said whatever the neighborhood needs, the city of Fort Worth is behind. So we're happy for this partnership, and also seeing the mayor of Benbrook also, because our goal isn't to push crime to Benbrook area. So we're willing to work together, so thank you.
Anybody have a question?
I'm going to try and talk about it.
Let us know how we can help. Yes. So we haven't asked for a lot of help at school right now because COVID and people don't want to come to school, which I understand because I can put stop and knock on the door if I have a mask on, and they walk right in the door anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I made this big stop sign now. Ralph made this stop sign for me, and I'm going to put it on the door, and I'm going to see if it works, but I doubt it. So I wouldn't want to come to school either. But I'm getting the kids to volunteer. The kids are volunteering, so they help. And we've got a few volunteers that come on the weekends, and they make sandwiches and prep lunch sacks. So anybody that's interested in doing that, we can add you to that list, and you can come for an hour. They're usually there for a couple hours, right, Betsy? And like last weekend, they did prep 200 sacks and made 240 sandwiches. There were so many sandwiches, they were on top of each other in the refrigerator. It was funny. They're all gone. Yeah, they're almost all gone. So, but anyway, yes. So we love having volunteers, but we understand. People don't want to come right now. We understand, but
Well, don't forget, If you wanna come after hours,
Yes.
let me know, cause I live close.
Yes, and Laura has a key, so if there's a bunch of people that want to do after hours, we can set up that too, and Laura can head that up to do an after hour prep.
I can come up there when I have after hours too.
Yeah, because it's so easy and it's fast. I mean, we have everything there, and you just like someone, as long as one person has a key, and we have a couple people here that have keys, so we can easily set that up. And we have access to a bathroom now. So. And soon, okay, so I know people have been wondering about the laundry room thing. So Miss Flores, the principal, has tried to get the 4th ISD to send a plumber and an electrician to check the portable out to make sure that we can set up our laundry room, and we know that the water's having issues, and we know that the breakers are going to have to be changed. So she basically, we've been at this for since the summer, so she said to me, let's just do it. So if people know, I think Lynette gave us a plumber, but we would love, if you have plumber ideas or electrician ideas of people that would maybe do it for us for nothing, that would be even better. And then we can try to get our laundry. I'm thinking that now it's getting too late, so if we could get it together where we can do it over the summer when nobody's there, and then we'll open it up in the fall and introduce it to the kids. So it'll be in the building next. Yeah, it's the building it's the portable right next to us. We have half of it. Right now it's storing all of our prom dresses and Gatorade and an extra refrigerator and such. But obviously we will figure out spacing.
Patty, since prom is coming up quickly.
Okay, so prom is May I forgot. I don't know, she just told me today, it's in my notes. So I think it's the 7th or something like that. Anyway, we've got all these prom dresses, and I was contacted by Heights Cleaners because they want to get involved in helping the West Side Fort Worth, and they want to clean dresses and tuxes and things for prom. So I had told her that we are running out of space and time, because I don't have time to keep up with all the dresses and everything. So we've got all of our dresses are all bagged and everything. So I asked her if she would take all of our dresses, and then she said she would host an event she wants to do it every year. So they will store our dresses, they will host an event where they can get people to donate suit jackets for boys and all that kind of stuff. Then they'll host an event for people to bring their stuff, and then we can figure out dates to get kids over there to try clothes on and stuff. And then they will clean them for them and have them ready for them. We can bring them back to school, and the kids can come, get them from Peter Corner. And so they want to do that, which is so nice. And so that we don't have to hang on to all these dresses. Because I had told Sean that we should give our dresses to University Christian Church. They do a big prom shop for kind of the city, but it is hard for our kids to get to Pascal, which means that I would probably be driving them to Pascal. So it would be so much easier if it's somewhere a little closer. And so since she offered to do this with us, she's figuring out the logistics, but she's soon going to have some big fundraiser where she's going to ask people to donate clothes and stuff. And then we'll post it so that y'all can get the word out that we need, old tuxes or suits or whatever, dresses, and shoes. And then she will host that event. Yes, because otherwise it's all going to come to us. I want it all to go to her. I mean, she said even that they would pick it all up.
You could probably sell it. Maybe we could host it at LDT.
That's an idea. She said though at to try to get people to donate their clothes, that they have space at the Kites on Camp Bowie, which is literally 2 blocks from my house. She said they have a huge space for this kind of a thing, and so she said she could store them there, but she wanted to have an event there for this. But then maybe what we could do is have them bring the clothes on rolling racks and bring it to LBT Rise, and we have an event for the kids to try on clothes there.
So if it's in the neighborhood, it might be easier. That way she also gets some name recognition as well. Sometimes it's good for businesses to get their name out.
They have, they have a location on 183 right there, and then they have the main one on Camp Bowie. And so she just said that when they renovated, they have a huge space for that. So she was offering that up to house our dresses and stuff. And I said, anyone that wants to do one thing off of my list, hero to me, so you can take it. So anyway, so that'll be really good. So, anybody else?
So when do you think we'll get this? We'll do another one of these. You're gonna try to go every 6 months? What do you reckon?
We used to do, I mean, I would think that we should.
Or was it quarterly?
I think we should do quarterly. I would quarterly better.
So how about when we've got the next crystallized part of this expansion plan ready, we'll get everybody together and test run it with you all in terms of how we're gonna.
Oh, do y'all want to see the logo?
Yes.
It's basically going to be the logo like right here on my computer, kind of, but it's but with the name change. So this is the horizontal version. I don't know if y'all can see that over there. And then there's this one's the horizontal, and then this one right next to it's just the vertical. And then this one with the heart, the word Alliance is going to change to this font, but basically this is just like, Cougars helping Cougars kind of thing. And this is for us to use at school with the kids, like if we do volunteer shirts or whatnot.
Okay. I like them.
These were done by Amber Brown, class of 79. So, yeah.
Send them so I can make you some more stickers.
I will. Some new stickers.
More stickers.
Yes. Vinyl. She does all my vinyl. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions? I just want y'all to know that Kelly Biggs, he's an alumni. But he's my hero because we've bought so very little Gatorade this year. All through football season, and he has like Gatorade, chips. When you couldn't find chips at Sam's, he had chips. He gets everything that I can't find. He gets it. Somehow, it magically appears.
Must be that
Peanut
ad.
butter, tuna, whatever it is, he can get it. So, he's like, I didn't want to really introduce you to anyone because I didn't want anybody to know what you gave me because then they'd ask for it too. But then I figured out on one of your emails that Ashley was already on your email. So I was like, darn it, she already knows.
So Kelly, why do you have all this stuff? What you want to tell everybody what you got going on?
I'm actually a president of a nonprofit. It's Texas Crime Prevention Association. Ours is Texas Chisholm Trail. And part of our, standard is we want to go into the communities that need help. And one way that we can get into the communities is help with food. And once we start making these connections, we are able to move in the communities and talk to them about crime prevention, how to make the communities better and safer. So if we're able to stop one person from committing a crime, we could actually stop that generation. Because it's going to fall to his family and then his children and he's going to teach. So if we can get to them when they're young enough, we can actually change it. And our association, we do in fact, yesterday, we just finished a human trafficking seminar, and everything is free to the public. We had a 4.5-hour presentation. We actually had a victim that was been a victim of sexual trafficking. We had the investigators come and talk. We had Unbound, which is a human trafficking association to bring them back in, and SOS International, and they do human trafficking victimization throughout the world. So we have another event coming up, but I'm throwing out the things that we do, because this is where you see our passions at. We have an internet safety for families that we're bringing in March 1st. And we have a world-renowned speaker talking about online predators. In the state of Texas, she was, for 2 years in a row, she was the top arresting officer for online predator stings. So, and she'll actually be teaching what parents can look for and how the children start reacting online and things that they do online. And she'll talk to the parents about clues that they need to start looking for. And I'm reaching out with the Attorney General's office right now, and they have another sting department. And we're going to be talking about online sales, how you're getting phished and everything else. But our association, in fact, we've talked with Willie about doing a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. And we've hosted those, and we'd go into Section 8 housing areas, and we put them on. Everything is free. We invite the families to actually come, because we want the families to be part of the children. And when we do, we've had 4 events at Price Lutheran off the park in Sycamore, and we have In-N-Out come and cater for everybody. We did one at the basketball gym over there off Alameda. Game on Sports. We did that. We actually had Mama's Pizza cater the entire event. So we try to get out in the communities, and I get donations. I pretty much stick my hands wherever, and when I find out somebody needs something, I start looking for it. She's like, she needed peanut butter, so we got her about 15 cases of peanut butter. Wow. But we try to get into the communities. If somebody feels better about themselves, they're less likely to commit a crime. And that's our main function, is to make them feel better about themselves, so we don't deal with them later.
Thanks, guys.